no grill. Okay, so you have a side-by-side shot of the podium finish as well for Thailand's Supercar GTC. And let's let the MC down there do the job of announcing the winners. As of course, we are going to be focused on the broadcast on the left side of your screen, which is the Super Pickup, which is underway right now. Of course, my feed is going to be on the side of the race rather than the podium win announcements. Uh-oh, number 29, quick and easy, already into position? Huh, that was fast. I was wondering why Jarrod made it all the way to the position first so fast compared to the rest of the field. What was everybody else doing? Paitun and Songsak and Chinnawood and Waris. But anyway, they're all here now, that's for sure. And race is about to get underway. They're allocated 35 minutes and 13 laps around the track. And we should be focused right here on the race and let those people down by the podium do their thing. Of course, they got the PR, the paparazzi, and the news publications covering all that. So that'll be read out in the papers as well as on ThailandSuperSeries.net when the results will be announced, along with wonderful pictures. Back of the field, we got green flag waving, go, go, go. In the front of the field, everybody waiting for the red light to go off, and here we go, folks. Red light off. That means it's good to go racing. Jarrod's got to defend left and right. Number 11, keeping Paitun at bay is going to be kind of hard, folks. Paitun now punching up over the line and reaching, going for the corner first. Makes it through T2. Clean and easy. Uh-oh. 65, got to be careful not to hit the wall there. And 96, what's on with the Motul Triton there? Got a little bit of a slow hiccup going up the hill and leaving that yellow truck left in the dust. Meanwhile, Paitun in the lead. In mind, first lap for these guys, super pickup, new tires. A little bit of a moist track, I guess. Moist. It's one of the words I've heard that is, it's a descriptive word. Sort of see it. Moist. I shouldn't use that word. It's not that moist. But anyway, the humidity is whisking off the moisture off the track here. And 13 laps left to go as we're being sponsored by PDT Ultra Force Premium Diesel for this series of Thailand Super Pickup Race 4. And of course, these trucks did not go to Malaysia in Sepang. We missed out on that one, and we went straight on to Buriram, which is where they participated, and now they're doing race 4 to end the journey here in Bangsaen. Such a big gap, and that's the reason why there's a gap. There's nowhere to go. 39 smushed up against the wall with 46 in the middle of the road. 46 not a pawn. 39 Peter Watt. Oh my goodness. What a mess. I guess that's going to be... It should have been more than a yellow. There it goes. Turning into a red now. I think I have... a feeling there it should have been in red right from the beginning. And everybody's going to pull right back into pit row. Let's check out the replay. Okay, camera caught it, zoomed in, and oh my goodness. That's a massive punch. 46, not a pawn, smashed right through. He thought it was the Incredible Hulk. The back of that truck having none of that. And there's a whole lot of plastic bits and metal chunks and fiberglass parts flying all over the place in the middle of that track. They got to do a massive cleanup job. So I guess we're going to be cutting back to podium presentation. And of course, wait to see what happens with safety crew. I'm going to sweep each other and get the debris off the road as fast as possible. Man, oh man. Right off the get-go, I told you guys that right off the bat, got to be careful. Wet, moist, fresh tires, rear-wheel drive, super pickups. Spell disaster definitely for 46. I hope none of them are seriously hurt though. As the camera here pans over to the podium, of course nothing can be done right now as to only to wait for the safety crew to come on down and fix up the crash that we just saw. Maybe we'll stop by and see the highlight or the replay later on. But yeah, in a three-way crash like that on a narrow course, that 46 had nowhere to go, slammed straight in the back of a pickup truck. Being that right now the Thailand Super Pickup Truck is underway, race 4 underway, but the time has definitely stopped at 32.37 or 12 laps. So they didn't really, not everybody had finished lap 1 yet, and that crash was a major one. 46 pretty much down and out, 39 and 12 as well. The whole back of the field pretty much taken out there. Perk, I'm not sure if I saw him there, but according to my readout here, he hasn't finished the lap either. As well as Wutichai. The only people to get past happens to be Paitun, Jarat, Chinawut, Songsak, Waris, and Ekasit, and also maybe Chamlumpon. And this is why we're seeing the cutaway to the podium prize presentation for Thailand Touring Car, which was just completed a wee bit earlier. And here's a shot of all our sponsors here. Gotta say thanks to Toyota, of course CP, Sing, Be Quick, Eden Mitsu, Escola, True Vision, Michelin, Bangkok Bank, Wang Prom, ETS Racing Fuel, Ultra Force Racing for premium diesel from PTT, Yamaha, and of course Tech Pro. Yamaha Racing, by the way. Boxa Racing as well. So bird's eye view of what seems to be an empty road or track, and rightfully so, only because, well, a big collision had just occurred, taking out a lot of cars, or a lot of super trucks, I should say, super pickups. You see the empty roads here. So we're going to be doing the beauty shots and taking a break. We'll be right back with more coverage when the red flag goes down. Should be shortly though, but judging from the 3 or 4 cars that collided there, it's going to be a while. Let's cut back to the podium and let the MC do his job. All right, folks. Still red flag conditions, and all the trucks there are stopped and waiting on the grid, waiting for the race to continue. Meanwhile, back down by Podium, they're announcing the winners of the Toyota Gazoo Racing for the one make race, I believe. Of course, they have their own MC down there. We should be getting back into the race. Only 18 minutes left to go. Already 16 and a half into the race with not really a complete lap or so. That crash pretty much took out almost half of the field. And let's see. What the heck are they doing with the numbers? This sucks. All right. You know, people here come down to see a race, and they're really anxious. And you can see the grandstands being piled up with people waiting to see that race. They're just looking anxiously. They can probably from the pit row here, they probably see the back of the trucks waiting in line down by the starting line. Let's wait a while to see when they'll actually start the Thailand Super Pickup Race 4. And when the safety crew deems it safe enough, because after this, they really have to clear the roads. After this, we're going to have, of course, TCR Asia for their second race. And Sean is already in the house here, commentary booth, getting ready for that race to begin. It was scheduled at 12:45, so stay tuned for that. And later on, before the Porsche Carrera Cup parade, we'll have the TA2 class running around for 40 minutes. Scheduled time starting at 1:30 today. All right, folks, finally we are back on track, literally, as the shot has moved away from the podium. Formation lap once again. I think they're going to restart everything, and here we go. Back of the field is marked off as green, front as well. Here we go. Now I guess they're going to take it a little bit easier now. I did say from the beginning, called it out that the track was kind of, cold tires, and of course they were running. There was a little bit of a wet track going on too on the back of the track. Coming down the mountain, take it easy. But of course, that didn't pan out quite right. Not much for the camera to go here. Waris on Rayab right here. Bendix, SRT, Nito climbing up the hill. 3 categories of pickup classes. Pickup A, B, and C. Up front should be Jarrad, and then followed with Paitun and Songsak and Chinawut. That order. Waris stuck in 5th position. Sort of have a hunch that Jarrad was trying to make a move up against Paitun earlier on before the red flag came down. The Paitun shoved on 4th and was able to lead the way, and then suddenly crashed in the back of the field, taking out much of the lineup there. Oh, it's nice to see 55 Perk still in the mix. I thought I lost him there because the jumble was so massive and the smoke just filled up that I couldn't see who was behind in the mashup there. So it's good that he made it out. Number 92 up and running. Songsak. Coming around the bend. And gonna set up. Gotta say thanks to all our sponsors right here. Of course, Toyota, CP, Sing, and Be Quick. Eden Mitsu, Escola, of course, True Visions. You can also catch us here on ThailandSuperSeries.net. And also live broadcast on True Vision channels as well, with Nabest being the commentator on that channel. And check out the back end of the 22 that got hit. Look at that. What a mess. Yeah, that's not going to be hauling anything anytime soon. So, yeah, these guys got to take it easy on the first round. At least warm up that tire properly, and and being that the back is really lightweight, and there's not that much aerodynamics pushing anything down there, so grip is going to be an issue. Rear-wheel drive as well, easy to spin out, long wheelbase. Everybody's going to be bunching up, going up the hill, trying to get in front of each other before the no-pass zone. Coming through turn 6, the hairpin. Ten trucks left on the grid. Back end signaling green, good conditions. And there goes the red light. And they're back to racing again. Here we go with 9 minutes left on the counter. It's going to be one of the shortest races I've ever seen. Number 11 already jumping in front. What'd I tell you? Earlier on, he did the same thing. He does it again. Paitun jumps in front of Jarrad. 29, truck. Meanwhile, the battle for third now. A jostling between Songsak and Chinawut. with Waris on Rayab following in suit. Coming down the hill. Single file. Okay, at least they're making it nice and orderly here. Want to make that second mistake. And Paitoon should be leading. There he is. Front and center. Equal distance between each other. It seems like the accelerating run is cropping out everybody behind third position, which is number 23, Chinawood. And here is the pickup trucks. As you can see, some of the back ends of the pickup trucks are pushing out black smoke. And of course, some of the rules and regulations here state that if you push out too much black soot from these pickup trucks, especially during the straightaways, you'll be penalized for it. But they also have to control their heavy foot on the straightaway. Oh, going past that area with a lot of the debris that was cleared off earlier. Okay, so it was right before pit entrance. Around turn 18 is where the incident happened earlier on. Path is now cleared off. Here are the lap times. 27. What? No, that has to be wrong. Let's look for their sector times right now. Also pretty exhaustive though. Paitoon in the lead. Isuzu team representing pickup group A. And Jarrod trying to go in first place as well for pickup group A, represented by YSS Racing Shocks and PTT. Leading the race for pickup group B is Chinawood. Currently third in position, the number 23 truck. And third in pickup group A would be Songsak, the number 92. Drops down a position. Chinawood edges over. Oh, locking the brake, going into drifto mode, number 29, Jarrod. Getting a little tricky here. He locked up the brake pretty good. Almost lost control there. '92. Not using the whole width of the track though. And, let's see. 29. Jarrod still in second position. All with 23 Chinawood. Top three. And here comes the action from 23 from behind. Trying to go. Maybe doing a crossover here. Couldn't catch him up in time before going into turn 19 corner. And now the rest of the field following Chinawood would be Songsak and Eksit and Chamlen Pon. Onlukin, number 13, dropping down to 7th position. Lap times now clocked in at 2:03, going to 8:46 by Paitoon. The fastest one around happens to be Waris on Rayab. He does a 2:02. 0.800. And in 6th position, climbs up a notch to 7. Gets past Eksit, who is in his path by Toon-a-lot. Toon by Ott for the 5th position. Shot of Waris, the number 65. 6. There you go, the white truck behind the black there. just crossing over the rumble strip on the roundabout. Trying to play catch up. Number 23, Chinawood. Jarrod started off the race in first position. For both times, lost the accelerating run up against Paitoon. Some trucks going way too wide there. Got 13, Chamlan Pon. Ponluk in. Dropping down in 7th position from Repsol. His time is 2:03.925. Ekase is right in front of 65. Oh, and 13. Ponluk in, lose the back out just a bit. Takes control of the truck. Good recovery. Waris. There you see him. The blue camo. 13 closely right behind him, driving very aggressively, not carefully though. Waris on Rayab trying to play catch up here. He had the best time earlier on at 2:02, now dropping down in his last time doing the 2:03. Speed just a bit. Meanwhile, Paitoon picking up the speed now with a 2:02.986. He's realizing it's no more time for games here as time is winding down now with 1.5 minutes left to go. Race 4 of Thailand Super Pickup. Jarrod's gonna make a move. It's gotta be now. Takes around 2 minutes to go around Bangsaen in the Super Pickups. Number 23, looking forward to entry. Chinawood, I think is going to be trying for 2nd place here. '23, 29 now flashing the lights out for the back end there. Jarrod saying move on over. Number 11 coming up. And we're on the final lap right now. And I guess Jarrod's trying to put some pressure onto Paitoon there. Running for the Thailand Super Pickup. Isuzu team is leading the way. Here comes a long stretch. See who locks their brakes up. Nobody. That's good to go. 11. Paitoon running away quickly now. Seems like he has more oomph out of the corner. Uh-oh. Here goes for a pass. Last minute, Jarrod pounces side by side. On the inside, closes the door by Paitoon. Not letting him go. It was so close. Maybe he'll try to go for it again. Jarrod up against Paitoon. Definitely a battle going on right there. But when Paitoon closed the door, I think Chinawood is looking to make the best of the situation, but goes out way too wide to make any difference. But losing the back end, Jarrod squiggles out a bit. There might be some hope for Chinawood to finish 2nd, but could not make it in time and ends up in 3rd. Paitun first, Jarat second, Chinawut in third, Ekasit falls in fourth, Songsat in fifth, and Waris in sixth. Chamlunpon, Polokin in seventh position. We'll cut on over to the highlight reel. Of course, we'll be right back with Sean in the hot seat for the TCR Asia, which will be coming up pretty shortly. But first, we'll have the prize presentation as well. So a short break, and we'll be right back, folks, for Thailand Super Series.
Welcome back to Bangsaen in Thailand, just below Bangkok for the final race of the 2019 TCR Asia Series. The fifth season of the longest running TCR Asia Championship since its inception back in 2015. Action has been thick and fast. We've been here twice before.
ก่อนที่เราจะไปแข่งขันกับ TCR Asia นะครับกับอีกหนึ่งท่านสำหรับนักแข่งชาวต่างชาตินั่นคือชาวฮ่องกงคุณเดวิดลาว Hello How are you Alright so I'm talking about TCR Asia What is this competition
I think this is very professional because we have the professional drivers and Cup drivers. This is the first year I joined the season, so to me it's very exciting and a very good experience to learn.
And this is the first time to come here in Thailand too
Not really. I've been racing here 3 years ago in the Clio Cup. Yeah. So second time.
And talk about this street circuit because it's different from another circuit right How about circuit
The street circuit, as you may all know, there's you have to be very precise, and the street circuit is more bumpy, and frankly, there's not much room for errors. So if you make any errors, you end up in the walls and in the rails.
เขาได้มีความรู้สึกว่าที่นี่เป็นสนามที่ค่อนข้างมีเอกลักษณ์แล้วก็บัมเบอร์ก็คือเหมือนกับเป็นพื้นที่ไม่เรียบเท่าไหร่นั่นเองครับเพราะฉะนั้นเขาจะรู้ก็ต่อเมื่อเนี่ยในการฝึกรอบแรกหรือการซ้อมรอบ practice นั่นเองและนี่ไม่ใช่ครั้งแรกที่เขามาที่สนามนี้นะครับแต่เขาเป็นครั้งที่3แล้วเพราะฉะนั้นเชียร์เขาด้วยกับเดวิดเหล่าครับเรามาพูดคุยกับนักแข่งอีกท่านหนึ่งนะครับโหคนนี้หล่อมากมาจากเยอรมันคุณลูก้าอิงสเตอร์ Hello how are you
Hello, hi, good to see you.
Alright talk about TCR Asia How do you feel into competition in Thailand
Yeah, really good to be back here in Bangsaen. Really good to be back in Thailand. We're championship leader, so only 2 races to go, and we'll see what's going to happen.
Talk about Thai people leave a comment
Yeah, so first of all, thank you. It's amazing to be here. I hope you cross the fingers, starting number 1, and then I hope we can make a party on Sunday night. Thank you.
เชียร์ลูก้าอิงสเตอร์ด้วยครับจากเยอรมันคนนี้กับ
Well, there's been some big news overnight after that incident-filled opening race yesterday. And we're going through the grid. Of course, the number 1 is the reigning champion. He's the points leader coming in. And it's very likely he will be the champion at the end of today's second race, round 10 of the season. Daniel Miranda back in the field after being involved in that 3-car incident down at turn 10 that brought out the safety car and ultimately declared the race. Diego Moran, winner for the 3rd time yesterday. All smiles for the driver from Ecuador. Zach Gower did a great job too in the second of the Eurasia entries. Unfortunately for Jakrafan Darby, the reigning TCR Thailand champion, he will not start today. And David Lau had a pretty tough return to TCR Asia during a damp session on Friday afternoon. Douglas Khoo, sadly for the Malaysian driver, more starts here at Bangsaen than any other driver. He will not be able to take out the TCR Asia Cup victory. That was sealed by Roland Hertner yesterday. So a number of championships are gone. The team's championship for the fourth consecutive season has gone to Liqui Team Engsler. Here is your pole sitter, Douglas Khoo, rather. We're just talking about him. This will be his 8th start here at Thailand. Of course, we've had two prior events for TCR Asia Series, 2 races per weekend. This is the 6th one for TCR Asia, but of course, he also did double duty a couple of seasons ago with TCR Thailand, and they had their own standalone round here on the streets of Bangsaen. So good experience for Douglas Khoo. Hasn't been as successful as he would have liked. Much better in the dry than the wet, but by virtue of qualifying 8th with the inverted top 8 from qualifying 2 yesterday, the 8th position qualifier will start from pole position this time round. That is Douglas Khoo. Now we're getting further back. Daniel Miranda has a new nose on the front of the number 20 Eurasia Motorsport entry. There's a reason for that. He was involved in that incident with Kim Jin-soo and, of course, with Jakrafan Darby. Unfortunately for Kim, he had dramas in the Solite Indigo racing machine. There was something broken in the rear link of the car. He went into the very tight right, left, right, turn 10, 11, 12. He got through the first right, back end wasn't doing what it was supposed to, a lot of understeer straight into the barriers. We talked about it a lot during qualifying and during the race. Hard into the barriers before the run out of turn 12, and unfortunately for him, there was big contact that bounced him back out into the path of Daniel Miranda, who had nowhere to go, and unsighted, just a few car lengths behind, was Darby, who came through the corner, looking to pull gears and accelerate down to turn 13. Unfortunately, he was faced with 2 cars across the circuit. Well, the ultimate happened. There were 3 very badly damaged cars. Unfortunately for Kim, he suffered injury to his shoulder, and he will not start the race today. Luca Engsler, he went on to recover from being turned around in turn 2, something we pretty much predicted off the start. He had Pepe Oriola alongside, the two of them fighting very hard for this championship, but the championship title would be decided between the two Liqui Team Engstler Hyundai drivers, Diego Morand and Luca Engstler. There's the man Roland Hurtner, who's come out of TCR Germany last year to take victory in the TCR Asia Cup. He managed to extract enough points from the race yesterday by finishing ahead of Douglas Koo to put that championship out of question. Car Model of the Year has already gone to Hyundai, 6 of them in the field this weekend. There's David Lau, sole entry this time round for the Team Work Motorsport operation, who are back in the championship this year. Alex Wade was slated to be in the car this weekend, unable to do so. David Lau started the season way back in April in Malaysia. He's back behind the seat for a baptism of fire. Again, he was in the barriers quite hard midway through the second practice session on Friday. Team recovered the car, repaired it, sent him back out for a bit more dry running and qualifying. A little bit of trepidation from the Hong Kong driver, understandable considering the impact he'd had with the barriers. He's finding a little bit more pace. He's further back in his field. We don't have a couple of cars. Here's the highlights of it. Drivers were able to get out, but again, an injury to Kim Jin-soo's shoulder. That's frustrating for him because he was in the battle too for top Asian driver in this championship. So too Daniel Miranda. His car initially didn't look great. In fact, the drive belt had come off the engine. They were able to change the engine overnight thanks to Liqui Team Engstler. They had a spare engine for the number 20 Hyundai i30 NTCR. And it was an all-nighter for the Eurasia team as they rebuilt the front of the car. A bit of a kick into the front rails, but of course these cars are designed as race cars these days, so those sorts of things are taken into account, frontal and rear impacts. There is an allowance for the teams to be able to make adjustment to the car to repair those quite quickly, so it's not a sudden end to a race. They repaired that overnight, straightened things up. It's an all-black nose cone on the front of the number 20 car, which will start from the second row. There has been a mix-up. We have also lost Daniel Khaled. Unfortunately, he had gearbox issues during the opening practice. They changed it between the two practice sessions. He had dramas again in practice 2. His first real laps of this circuit, the young man supported by Sepang Circuit Malaysia, driving, of course, for Volkswagen Team Oettinger. He came through in qualifying, did a pretty admirable job, got as high as 5th in the early laps of the race, but unfortunately was back down pit lane before all the dramas started. That could actually have worked in his favour ultimately because he would have been somewhere in the mix with Zach Gow, Daniel Miranda, Kim Jin-soo, and of course Jakrapan Davi. He was in pit lane. Unfortunately, there was an engine issue. They changed the engine overnight, and I don't believe the number 4 Volkswagen is on the grid. They couldn't get the drive line to work correctly. The gearbox and the engine weren't mating up, something to do with DSG and sequential gearboxes and the setups for the car. They've got the engine running, they've got the engine idling, but they couldn't get it this morning just to select gear and move the car forward. So they're a reluctant withdrawal. So it hasn't been a great weekend for Adam Khalid. He will be watching this one from down in pit lane. So disappointing for him. He'd done such a sterling job this year, and a lot of these young drivers really have stepped up. One of those I'm very impressed with, of course, is Daniel Miranda. He's come out of open wheelers, working with Eurasia. This is his first season in a TCR touring car, and he's been very solid against drivers the likes of Pepe Oriola, Luca Engstler, Diego Moran. This is his 3rd season in TCR. He's got a lot of miles under his belt now, the driver from Ecuador. And of course, we've had Daniel Lloyd, the English driver, who does so well as a bit of a gun for hire in various championships around the world. So he's come up against some good competition, Adam Khalid. Even seen Rob Huff in TCR Malaysia earlier in the year. So he's able to match himself against that, and for young guys in this part of the world, the programs in place, certainly that great driver development program from Sepang Circuit, allows them to step into these championships and race against some of the world's best drivers. Now for Pepe Oriola, so far he's 0 from 9. What I mean, he hasn't won a single race in 9 starts in TCR Asia this year, and he is very, very keen to go after this one. Talking to Luca Engstler, I stuck my head in the door just before he came onto the grid. He was down at the dummy grid, and he said, I really want this one to be clean. I want to finish this championship off. The news about the championship, of course, is there is 25 points separating him from the man in the number 13 entry. If you win this race, you get 25 points. If you don't finish this race, you get 0 points. So the onus is on Luca Engstler to finish it. That said, championship regulations are, if you are equal on championship points at the end of the year, the count back goes back to race victories. And even if Diego wins this race, he will be a 4-time winner this year. Already, Luca Engstler is a 5-time winner this year. So it effectively puts the championship out of reach. And it gives the driver of the number 1 entry, he is the reigning TCR Malaysia champion. He was crowned earlier in the year. He'll be back, we think, for TCR Malaysia early next year. A little bit of news about that shortly. He is also the reigning champion of TCR Asia, the first driver in 5 seasons to come back into a championship with the coveted number 1 plate. He has been a standout again this year, qualified on the front row, qualified on pole 4 times out of 5 starts. Martin Shi, the Honda driver from TCR China, the only one guy-boshing an almost perfect record. That came at Shanghai for rounds 5 and 6. So you could see the board go up. Everybody's off the field. They will get the cars out there. Sadly, there's been a delay again, as there was yesterday, but that is the inane nature of a street race, especially a street race the likes of Bangsaen. Very tight. You can see down at the hairpin. One of the concerns coming into this weekend, of course, is there had never been a Hyundai TCR car qualify or be on the Bangsaen circuit. And they were not quite sure how things were going to go down at the hairpin. Very, very tight. In fact, Luke Rinksler talking about using the handbrake down there just to bring the back around. But talking to Diego Moran, he said, I felt like I was driving a Metro bus last year in the Volkswagen. I felt like I was doing 15 turns lock to lock as I came into the hairpin, which is amazing. It's just a quick flick of the wrists with the Hyundai and around she goes. So that was the only concern they had. The other one was that if we had intense heat, and it's traditionally mid-30s, high humidity every day this week, and for the weeks coming, it's predicted to be 70% plus chance of rain. Bright sunshine today, which is the conditions that greeted the teams during opening practice on Friday. Wasn't so much bright sunshine, it was patchy sunshine, but certainly a dry circuit. Second session, it was delayed by an hour because of it was a Carrera Cup Asia car through the barriers at one point. They had to repair the barriers. Done a bit of repair of cars this weekend. The immediate race prior to this saw 4 cars in the barriers blocking the entire circuit, which set us back about half an hour. These are the things that happen at a street circuit. It has happened in the past. Go back to that great race for the championship between Thai drivers Tim Sritrai and Kennedy Kasiri back in the day in 2017 as we go to the grid. Douglas Koo on pole, Zach Gow alongside. Daniel Miranda, great to see him back after that rebuild overnight alongside Diego Moran, yesterday's winner. The man with the greatest credentials coming in, Pepe Oriola, alongside his early season rival Luca Engstler. Engstler has all but wrapped up the title. Out of mathematical equation is Pepe Oriola, but he will be desperate to take out a race win in this season. He has been in the thick of things, but hasn't been able to put it all together, whilst his young rival, another man racing over in Europe now, he's certainly one of the future stars of touring car racing worldwide. Great heritage, of course. His father, Franz Engstler, is an icon in touring car circles in Europe. The Engstler operation, one of the best in the world, and 4-time champions consecutively in TCR Asia, 4-time drivers champions, and the team that has represented the leading car model of the year past couple of seasons has been Volkswagen. This year, of course, it is Hyundai. 6 Hyundais in the field. In fact, I think we're down to 4 Hyundais in the field this time around. 5 Hyundais in the field. Lost one, of course, yesterday. That was Kim Jin-soo. Capra TCR of Jack Honda. And, of course, the second of the Volkswagen Team Ottinger entries of Adam Carley. So down to 8 cars for the start of this race. Audi, Hyundai, Cupra and Volkswagen represented. We go on to what is sadly the last race of this season. And, watch the action on the run down to turn number 1 and 2. Remember that the 2 stars of this championship, I'm talking about Pepe Oriola and Luca Engstler, will be starting side by side on the 3rd row. Championship effectively wrapped up for Engstler. Does that change his approach to this race? It possibly does. Pepe Oriola hasn't taken a victory this year. He effectively comes into the season as the man with the greatest credentials from WTCR in past seasons, youngest ever FIA winner of a touring car race. He doesn't want into this season without a victory, so he has a point to prove too. For Douglas Koo, he'll be keen to get off the line and get round past the first couple of corners to get out of the action that's going to go on behind him. Zach Gow learning as he goes. Daniel Miranda keen not to see a repeat of yesterday. And Diego Moran, yesterday's winner, he'll be going out for another win this year. Watch the lights go on. Once the lights go out, we will start. Right of screen, Douglas Koo. Left of screen is Eurasia Motorsports, Zach Gow. They start from the front. Oh, Douglas is gone. Well, he was keen to avoid the mess. He's going to get himself a drive-through. Bags of wheel spin for Daniel Miranda. What's happened from there? Let's go to the front and follow the leaders through. Douglas has put himself out of the equation, but Diego already charging down the inside of Zach. Again, a drama off the line for Daniel Miranda. He stalled off the start yesterday. This is where it all happened yesterday. Already Moran has got Pepe Oriola right under his rear wing and Luca Engstler back in about 5th position. Good clean start. What can they do down to the front? I wonder whether there was a little bit of trepidation from Douglas Koo, and that just left him to nervously race off the line before he'd actually had the clearance. Frustrating for the rider that means the team boss. He's going to be in a bit of strife, I'm sure, with the officials, and you could almost expect a drive-through penalty. But let's get back to where the action is behind. It looks like Zach Gow has held on to position number 2. He has Diego Moran all over him, and behind Moran is Oriola, who's got Engstler not too far behind. That's where the battle will be, I expect, in this race. Roland Hertner has dropped back behind David Lau, and of course that's Daniel Miranda from the 2nd row of this grid. He is further back. Another tough start, the young Philippines driver. But the main thing is he's in this race. This is where the action was yesterday, and where the action is again at the moment. As Diego Moran looks, he's now got a little bit of a touch there. That's a great shot from Pepe Oriola, who's keen to push through. A little bit of damage to the guard on the number 74 Solid Indigo entry. And I think Douglas is going to have it all come unstuck for him here. He's got the whole field stream past. He doesn't want to see any drama. He wants to get through this one. Hasn't got a great finishing record here. He'd like to top that one up as the man with more starts in a TCR car on the Bangsaen circuit than any other. What has Oriola got for Diego Moran? Lights ablaze for the reigning champion. He is not going to sit there for too long. He likes being able to take the fight to some of the best stars in the world. We saw it at Sepang in TCR Malaysia with Rob Huff. Great battle down to turn 4, side by side, banging doors. That went through to the opening round of the TCR Asia Series season. He's going to go to the outside. That'll be all right for turn 1. Not so good for turn 2. Goes for the crossover. Will he fire down the inside under brakes? I'm not so sure he'd try that on Pepe Oriola. Not the man he regards as the god of street racing. I think he's going to choose his moment, and I'm not sure it's going to come right now. 27 and a bit minutes left on the clock. 30-minute race. That is race distance. No word yet. Yes, there is. Race start under investigation. Well, don't have to be Einstein to work out that was coming, because that's a jump start. Okay, Moran is under the rear wing of Zach Gow, who I have to say is doing a very impressive job. First flying lap, he was fastest. He saw what was coming behind him. 1:47.2. He pressed on. At the moment, he is leading the field comfortably, and he'll be very happy with that. And of course, Mark Goddard and the team down there at Eurasia will be very happy to see him continuing to lead. The main thing for him and for Daniel Miranda, who's back there in position 8, 2:11 for him off his flying start, standing start. That's a little bit slower than you would expect. Drive-through penalty for number 65 for false start. Okay, that one was guaranteed almost. Without wanting to suggest that I know better than any of the stewards. It's up to them to make that decision, but traditionally, a jump start like that will see a drive-through penalty, and that's exactly what Douglas Koo will be facing. As we go back to this great battle, this is shades of 2018, when it was Moran, Mitchell Chia and Luca Engstler battling Logie Ho, the driver from Hong Kong, in the Honda. It was 4 cars as now Engstler tucks up under the rear wing of Oriola, who seems to have just dropped off the back of Moran a little bit. Of course, the pace isn't as quick perhaps as they would like. But certainly Zach Gow hasn't been running at the pace of the 3 drivers around him, as now Moran goes to the outside, likely takes that position away. He now leads. Yesterday's race winner. Good job for him. Oh, just looking at the inside was Pepe Oriola, but he's seen just how tight this is. He doesn't want to make a mistake here. He can see Moran's getting away. He knows he's got Engstler behind him. He's proven he can keep Engstler behind him for the time being. He wants to make a decisive move on Zach Gow. Might be. He can't do it down here at the hairpin, of course. It's full course yellow at this part of the circuit. You're not allowed to make an overtaking move. There's room. You've seen many a drama in past years. They've locked that off now. No passing move at that part of the circuit. Here's a chance now for Pepe Oriola to try and get his way past Zach Gow. The main thing he'll be trying to do is ensure that Diego Moran doesn't get super far ahead. Not so quick during practice, Diego Moran, but I was reminded by Luca Engstler that traditionally Diego isn't so fast during practice. He comes alive in qualifying, and 3 wins this year suggests that he's more than come alive in the racing. Interestingly, in one of those races at the start of the year, during the opening round in Malaysia, that came at the wheel of a Volkswagen. He moved across to be teammate to Luca Engstler again in the Hyundai. Made his debut run at Zhuhai. He started to work his way forward. Different learning curve. You talk to the drivers that have made the jump from any other mark into Hyundai. It's got a narrower window of operation. You really need to be right on it to extract the maximum from the car. But once you have, you manage to push it further. It seems a lot of the other models. Oh no, keep it going, Zach. That's good news. Well, that's a little bit of Rubbings racing. That's part of touring car racing. Not sure you'll see too much penalty out of that. We saw a little bit of that between Luca Engstler and Pepe Oriola, the man who initiated that contact at Malaysia earlier in the year. Oh God, it's close, isn't it? It's brewing as a fight. And it's great to say I want to keep a clean car and no contact, but I'm not sure how that's going to last. It's down the inside or the outside. Oh, Engstler tries it. No, Oriola's not having any of it. He's gone over some debris. Hopefully that's not going to get into the intake. One of the concerns this weekend, as is often the concern with street races with the TCR cars, brake temperature. These are the hottest temperatures we've had in bright sunlight this weekend. Let's hope that there's no debris that's gone in and blocked off any of those cooling ducts in the front of the car. We'll allow the brakes to cool. Been okay so far, but you could argue temperatures haven't been quite the same. Now look at what this has done. This has really opened the window for Diego Moran. There'll be much celebration in Ecuador for the man who's, well, he's almost Prime Minister material over there. He's really had everybody on edge. All the chat has either been from the Thais or the Ecuadorians across the course of the season. They really love this form of sport. Of course, we're in Thailand. Lots of passion for motor racing, lots of passion. Oh, that's bad news. I was going to say we've gone back to Douglas Koo, who's served his drive-through penalty. Sadly, now we're looking at the Teamwork Motorsport entry of David Lau. Looks like he may even be out of the car, so that's frustrating for them. It's great to see them back in the championship. As I say, Alex Wee from Hong Kong has been leading the charge for much of the year. Very experienced in the Touring Car Championship. He's been pushing right at the front of the field, but they haven't been able to extract the results out of the Audi this year that they were looking for. Expect to see more in TCR Malaysia, which kicks off early in the new year. It will be a 3-round championship for 2020. 17th, 18th of January, 14th, 16th of February, and then 29th of February to the 1st of March, all at Sepang International Circuit. Lights flashing from Luca Engstler. How good is Zach Gow at the moment? He is hanging tough with these guys. Luca Engstler fastest on track, just churned out a 1:43. One is down the inside now. It was almost inevitable. And Zach Gow, very, very smart move to just give those two battling drivers a little bit more racing room. It was only a matter of time. What he's learned in the last 2 laps, you could just not go out and buy. That will be very, very vital in his growth as a driver. And he admitted yesterday he's learned so much this weekend already. Those 2 laps with these 2 drivers behind him are really going to serve as a great opportunity for him to take that experience into the 2020 season. Diego Moran now is down the road by 6.3 seconds. You can see the gap between Oriola and, well, Engstler's dropped back just a little bit. He can't get back past. I wonder what's going on there. Engstler seems like he may have a drama. Zach Gow is back up to position number 3. I'm not seeing any notification on the board, but certainly Engstler had followed Oriola through on that passing move down at turn 2. So whether something's happened beyond there that we've missed, certainly looks like Engstler's racy again. Yesterday there was a drama we watched at one stage during qualifying in the first 20-minute leg, crawling around the circuit. Somehow the pit limiter had engaged, whether he'd bumped it or something had happened during his lap. Crawling around the circuit, back into pit lane, explained to the team what had gone on. They found the issue, he got going again, but let's hope that hasn't happened for Engsler. Down to turn 18, down the inside, that gives him racing room again. And that puts the reigning champion and the points leader up to third position. Race lead now. He's just crossed the line another time, 5.9 seconds. So the pace, second sector, fastest lap for Pepe Oriola. Not the fastest lap of this race, that's still Luca Engsler, the 143.1. That was a 146.2 for Pepe Oriola. He didn't lose too much ground on Diego Moran, who did a 143.4. Is his best time. Last lap he did a 144.3, so he seems to be about a second off his ultimate pace. So we'll just watch how that works out. Douglas Koo is shown in position 5. Daniel Miranda, we haven't seen too much sight of the young Philippines driver who is in his own battle. He's in a battle with Zach Gao for top honours in the TCR Asia series for the leading Asian driver. We'll just check the championship points coming into this race. Well, there is Daniel Miranda, left of screen. You can see he clearly has a drama. He's had a lap put on him by the leaders, also by his teammate. He may have been down pit lane. It says not. It also says that Douglas Koo hasn't been down pit lane yet. But I saw him down there running on his own. Well, it may be that he hasn't been in pit lane yet. Certainly been told there's a penalty. Team communications work. Certainly for Wi-Fi and internet around here at the moment, there's so many people here, it is compromising signals just a little bit, but that's radio frequency, it's a little bit different. As Diego Moran continues to push on, he has, well, another chance for maximum points. He's done it 3 times already this year. He's in the Volkswagen twice, including yesterday in the number 23 Hyundai i30N TCR. And he has one of the best drivers in the world in the touring car charging up behind him. But what can Pepe Oriola do? We still have just under 20 minutes to go in this race. There is time. Oriola is capable of charging through with some interesting laps. But Miranda comes into this race on 142 points in the Asian drivers classification. Zach Gao, his teammate, on 127 points. They were battling Kim Jin-soo, didn't make a start. Battling Adam Khalid, didn't make a start. Also battling Douglas Koo. Now Douglas at the moment is separating the two. It doesn't seem he has turned a lap in pit lane just yet. Now on lap number 7, there's 6 laps in the books for all but Douglas. He could be in pit lane now. Keep an eye on that one. But certainly that would suggest maximum points in that battle would be 25 points. That at this stage would go to Zach Gao. And at the moment, you would expect if Daniel Miranda, he's had his eyes set on this title coming into this weekend, if he can manage to get across the line second in that battle, or third, he will retain the advantage, because the moment's 15 points. You can see just how hard Pepe Oriola is pushing that Solite Indigo Racing Hyundai. A little bit of damage on the guard from the battle in those early laps. That's not going to slow him down, but the attitude of the car, you can see it drifting, he's just throwing it into the corners. Not too worried about tyre wear. You can see visibly he is catching Diego Moran. It's one thing to catch Diego Moran, it'll be another thing to overtake him. Diego will be keen to get maximum points. If he does that and anything happens to Luca Engsler, then he will match him on championship points. That would be an effort in itself, but well, there's Engsler. He's recovered. He's not too far behind Pepe Oriola, so that's pretty much out of the equation. I'm sure Diego, just like Pepe Oriola, will want to end this race with another maximum haul of 25 points. So don't expect the driver from Ecuador, hero in his home country, don't have a big motorsport culture, but by crikey, they've got a huge fan base. They're all over the TCR Asia series and what Diego Moran is doing. He's a proud member of that motorsport community too. Based in Asia, has been the last few seasons. Stepped up from production car style racing in Ecuador to TCR a couple of seasons ago. Joined the Kumoli Team Engsler alongside at that stage Kennedy Kasiri. Went on last year to be one of 3 entries for the Kumoli Team Engsler, of course, alongside rising star Mitchell Chia. He's had some more success just recently over in Europe. He's still driving the Volkswagen Golf GTI TCR, and of course alongside champion-elect. He would go on to take his championship last year, and he's going to do the same again this year, but been much closer in that battle with Diego Moran. So Diego Moran leading by 4.5 seconds. Fastest second sector this time round to Luca Engstler, as he is now a couple of seconds back from Pepe Oriola. He might like to give himself another win. So 16 minutes to go. We haven't even gone halfway through this race. The field is stretched out a little bit, but already things are very, very interesting. Qualifying pace we saw down in the 140s. That was an epic lap by Luca Engstler. And if you go online onto the TCR Asia Series Facebook page, you can see an online lap from Luca Engstler of the January circuit, 20 corners. A lot of action, a very, very busy 3.75 kilometre lap. And he takes us through that. But his qualifying lap yesterday, he said, I had nothing left. Brushed the barriers at least twice. He said, that was it. It's as good as I could do. In the end, he was about 18/100ths up on Pepe Oriola, who himself threw in a steaming lap. Well, steaming lap, of course. The gap to the leader, 2.6 seconds. Whilst we've been watching Zach Gow, Pepe Oriola's thrown down a 1:41.7. That is hugely impressive. That is qualifying lap time. So track conditions, very, very good. 7 laps in, 8 laps in. Have they got the best of their control Michelin S9L? Perhaps they have. But gee, the pace of Engstler too must have been good last time around. 1:43.1, his best lap. He did a 1:41.9, so he's also in the 41s. They haven't updated the best lap times yet. So it was a 1:41.7 for Oriola and 1:41.9 for Luca Engstler. The gap between the top 5 now just 5 seconds. And if he gained on almost 2 seconds, or a bit under 2 seconds on Moran last time round, so it's going to be too long before we see a great fight for the lead. And if he can hold him up, he did that yesterday to Luca Engstler. Diego Moran will see Engstler join that fight. It'll be a 3-way battle as we go into the last 5 or 6 laps of the 2019 season. And what an epic conclusion to the season that will be. 1:41.789 by Pepe Oriola last time round. He can see the race leader. He can also see the number 1 behind him. He won't be letting Engstler past. You can guarantee that. What does Diego Moran have for these 2 superstars? Can he hold them up? Will he have stepped up? Let's just check the time. 1:43.6 for Moran that lap round. His best 1:43.1. Now the new fastest lap of the race, 1:41.496 to close to within 1 second, 1.2 seconds now of Oriola. There it is. The gap is coming down to 1 point. Oh, look at it over the bumps. They talk about it being very bumpy from turn 2 up over the hill. You can see just how deep Engstler's gone in. This isn't over by a long shot. This is what we came to see. The best drivers in this championship going toe to toe in the final few laps of the 2019 season. It doesn't get any better than this. There is Douglas Koo. He is obviously running around by virtue of a drive-through penalty. He made a big jump start. He has got these drivers ranging up behind him. He'll be wanting to get out of the way of this because it's going to get very interesting. And you could expect that these drivers would likely use him as a little bit of leverage just to gain some track position. I need to put my teeth in. This is getting exciting. 6 laps to go. Watch out, Doug. They're coming. They're right behind you. This has opened up. Racing room as we come down to turn, well, not turn 18 yet. That was turn 15. Coming down the bottom of the circuit. Run along the beach. Very fast down here. And Diego Moran, well, he don't have to worry about splits and gaps now. He is just going to have to drive the widest Hyundai i30 NTR TCR ever built over the final 5 laps of this race. He's got Pepe Oriola, the man regarded as a god of street racing by Luca Engstler, right behind him now. And he's got his teammate Luca Engstler keen to take this battle through the last few laps of this season, right behind Oriola. This is game on. This could end in tears. This could also be one of the most epic races you'll ever see. We saw the season kick off that way between Oriola and Luca Engstler at Sepang in Malaysia. It looks like it's going to close out just that way as now Engstler looks to stick his nose down the inside. They can't do the move here, but it'll get very interesting as we run from the hairpin back down to turn number 18 and then kick off another lap as they come out and charge down to the main straight. What has Oriola got for Moran? What can Moran do? How wide can he make that car? And just how much of a risk are these drivers going to have to take to make a move? They are at the top of their game. They are the leading drivers in this championship. a three-time winner, leads a man who hasn't won a race this season and is desperate to do so, and a man who's won 5 races this year and will be the 2019 champion. That is Luca Engstler. Through the area where we saw that incident yesterday, the 3-car incident that brought out the safety car and ultimately had the race declared at 75% race distance. Let's hope that doesn't happen today. We've got 11 minutes left in this, but 5 laps to go. He's going to give him a bit of a push. Is Pepe Oriola under the rear wing of Diego Moran. Diego's running it very wide. He's become a very classy driver this year. He knows what he's doing. He'll want to see another victory, but so too will Oriola. How hungry is he? How desperate does he want that win? He's also a very strong racer around the outside. This is a drag race now. This could be crucial as they come to the main start-finish line. Miranda's just crawling around. He just wants points to take that title he's been so desperate for. Now, Engstler pulls alongside Oriola. So clearly a little bit of an advantage in the performance stakes to the 2 Engstler cars. Closes the door, Oriola. He's keeping the number 1 out. He wants to keep one eye on Moran. They take it through another one. 4 laps to go. We don't worry too much about fast laps now. That's not going to happen too much. There's too many protective lines being run. They're not going to be eking out the optimum lap because that might just open the door for one or the other to sneak down the inside. Can't do it here. That's closed off. It's full course yellow at that point. Now they can go again. What can Moran do? This is fantastic racing. This is what we signed up for. This is what we're expecting all year. Sadly, it hasn't quite played out that way. Been a few dramas for Pepe Oriola. He hasn't been able to take the fight to the champion-elect. Diego Moran, on a number of occasions, has been the main challenger to the number 1 of Luca Engstler, and they are carrying on that performance right now. I'm thinking Diego's going to be pretty happy with this, under pressure from 2 of the best touring car drivers in the world. And he can mark himself up there as being one of those. He admitted that racing these guys and Daniel Lloyd has been one of the highlights of this season. Gee, I can't wait to see the onboard action from these guys. It'll be incredible. Very little separating them. This is getting very racy. 3.5 laps to go in this season. What do we have left? Where is this going to unfold? Can it retain this position all the way through to the end? I tell you need a special award to Diego Moran if you can. This is impressive. Back behind these guys, Zach Gow still holds in position number 4. Douglas Koo still shown in position 5. I won't worry about the pit stop indicator because clearly guys in pit lane are not shown on there. Roland Hurtner has had dramas. He is back in pit lane. We've missed that after the opening lap, so he's out of the equation. Daniel Miranda is now 3 laps down on the leaders. The young man from the Philippines still circulating though. That's important. Well off the pace, more than 23 seconds off the pace. So he's keeping out of trouble. He wants to be declared a finisher in this race. He's still carrying on, shown in position number 6. Back down to the hairpin one more time. Still Diego Moran leads this race. What has Pepe seen? He's seen a few opportunities, but in a sheer performance run, side by side, he just doesn't quite seem to have that edge of the 2 blue-grey coloured Liqui Team Engstler cars. So he might have found something. He might have seen something. If there's one thing that you can expect from Pepe Oriola, if there's an opportunity or half a sniff, he will take that opportunity. So he's using these laps just to try and determine where he can make a move stick, how he can pull it off, and how he can suddenly become the widest Hyundai in history and keep those 2 Liqui Team Engstler cars behind him. We're getting into 2.5 laps to go in this race. There's not long left. I don't think we have to worry about the... Oh no, I can't believe I'm reading this. Black and white flag for exceeding track limits for the number 74 car. That's not a good start. I mean, they're pushing hard, they're racing hard. This is what we want to see, good, hard racing. But there are rules. You exceed track limits, you will be pinged for that regardless of who you are. Unfortunately for Pepe Oriola, he's just had the team receive that notifications on the bottom of my screen. So we come down to 2 laps to go. Diego Moran continues to lead around. He's facing win number 4 for this season and back-to-back at Bangsaen. No one's done that before. He's been very good. Tin Sritrai, who's here racing a Ferrari in Thailand Super Series this weekend, has been a past winner twice here at Bangsaen, but back-to-back on a race weekend. That's going to be in the realm of Diego Moran, the way things are looking right now. Lap and a half to go or thereabouts. The Ecuadorian driver doing an absolutely stunning job holding Pepe Oriola at bay. Luca Enxler comfortable at this stage to see his teammate at the front of the field, his title rival. He knows that he's got this championship wrapped up if he crosses the line where he is. He effectively had it wrapped up even if he didn't finish this race by virtue of what would be, if Moran wins, top points shot. I'll start again. The top points would have been shared between the two Liqui Team Enxler drivers, but the countback would have seen it go to the driver with the most number of wins. As that stands right now, there's 3 wins to Luca Enxler. If Moran wins this one, it'll be 4 wins for the season. But for Luca Enxler, he has taken 5 already. So he would wrap the title up that way. What have we got left? Lap and a half to go. Not very much is what we've got left. Doesn't look like Pepe is able to make something stick. Let's hope it's not a big desperate. The team will have alerted him of the black and white flag just to advise him to be clear of the track limits. Certainly there's not a lot of extra on the John Bury circuit. Final lap board is out. This is the last rotation of the 5th season of the TCR Asia Series, the longest running TCR championship of the multiple championships worldwide now. As Diego Moran leads through and up the hill for the last time, the highest point of this circuit, 24 metres down to the lowest point down at turn 18. It's all downhill now. The final run to the flag out of turn 18, flat and across the line, but he's got to get there yet. Oriola's got one last chance, sneaks up onto the tail of the number 23. What has he got? What can he do? Pepe Oriola, he wants to finish this one. He'd like nothing more than to chalk up his first win of the year. And Luca Enxler sitting there in a watching brief just to defend his teammate if he really needs to. But he's dropped back to give them just a little bit of space. Diego's doing absolutely everything right now. He's driving a relatively wide car, but they're still punching out pretty quick laps. 143.2, 143.4, 143.7 last time round. Fastest lap though stays with Luca Enxler with a 141.49. He is going to cap that off with another fastest lap of the race. Not far to go. Turn 16. The run down the beach now, down to 18 to the pit entry. Through the last couple of corners and the run across the line. He has got it covered at the moment. To the inside. Oriola's going to look to the outside, the switch back. But Enxler sticks his nose down the inside. He's still got him covered. Is this back-to-back for Diego Moran? Ecuador celebrates. It looks like it's going to be. Do we see the checkered flag? Yes, we do. Back-to-back victories for Diego Moran. Unfortunately for Pepe Oriola, it's the bridesmaid's position again, and back-to-back champions for Luca Enxler. This will be top honours too, in all likelihood, for the man in the grey and green Viper. And he's a racing entry, Douglas Koo. He'll be happy with that. Zach Gao crosses the line in position 4. A great result for the Chinese driver. He's been a great asset to this team this year. Has been learning every time and has really stepped up on this notorious track circuit here at Bangsaen. 5th across the line to Douglas Koo. Good result for the man from Malaysia. And Daniel Miranda is classified, I think, in position number 6. He should be. He's still crawling around. Got his best lap down to a 2-minute dead. So, yeah, still struggling after that overnight rebuild. And there is the beautiful scene of Chonburi, the Bangsaen Grand Prix, one of the best events you could ever attend. If you ever get the opportunity to be there. Engstler behind him, but ultimately that's the way they finished. Moran takes his 4th win of the year, another maximum haul of points. Pepe Oriola takes position 2. Luca Engstler will be the 2019 champion, back-to-back in TCR Asia for the number 1 Liqui Team Engstler driver. Zach Gow takes position 4. Douglas Koo, Daniel Miranda, and sadly for David Lau, he finished inside pit lane. So a little bit of carnage in yesterday's opening race. 3 retirements, 3 drivers unable to make the start. Fortunately for Daniel Miranda, he was one of those drivers in that 3-car crash down at turn 10-11. They were able to rebuild that car overnight, the Eurasia Motorsport team, but unfortunately, never a great thing when you're doing some major repairs to a car on site. You don't have everything you need. It clearly didn't make that car as healthy as it would have liked to have been, and he crawled around to make sure that I would expect we will crown him as the leading Asian driver in the championship for this year. So thanks for joining us. Stay with the website and all the news. Stick with TCR Malaysia when that gets into gear early in the new year, and we will see you, we hope, again in 2020 for another exciting Bangsaen Grand Prix.
เดี๋ยวเรามาพูดคุยกับอีกหนึ่งนักแข่งนะครับทีม PT Motorsport ทีม Thailand นั่นเองนะครับเบอร์ 63 คุณศิลป์สวัสดีครับพี่ศิลป์สวัสดีพูดถึงการแข่งขัน TA2 หรือ Trans Am2 เล่าให้เขาฟังหน่อยว่าในเรื่องของการแข่งขันเนี่ยมันเป็นอย่างไรบ้างครับ
ในส่วนของการแข่งขันนะครับในประเทศไทยนะตอนนี้รุ่นนี้ถือว่าเป็นรุ่นใหม่นะครับที่นำเข้ามานะครับในเมืองไทยนะครับ
กฎกติกาการแข่งขันเนี่ยเป็นยังไงบ้างครับ
เป็น two driver นะครับแล้วก็ต้องมีเข้าพิทมีเวลามีอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะครับผม
กับรถ Muscle Car คันใหญ่การขับขี่ยากไหม
โอ้ต้องพูดเลยว่ายากมากครับแล้วก็ตื่นเต้นมากด้วยเพราะว่าเนื่องจากว่าอย่างที่บอกมันไม่มี run off area นะครับไปถ้าพลาดมันก็กำแพงเลยแล้วด้วยรถใหญ่ๆอย่างเงี้ยแซงกันก็ยากแล้วก็ต้องบอกว่ารถมันค่อนข้างจะแรงมากนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นก็น่ากลัวอยู่ครับพอสมควร
และหนึ่งในนักแข่งที่เป็นผู้หญิงคนเดียวที่มาแข่งในรุ่นนี้มาจากประเทศฟิลิปปินส์เกวินเดล่า Hello how are you
Hello hi nice to meet you I'm good
okay yes talk about this competition in this race talk about street first
okay
what do you feel in this street
you know I've been so excited leading up to this race because well one it's a street race second it's right beside the beach so you know it just gives off all this energy that you absorb you know with your car and everything so it's fantastic
this competition about TA2 in Thailand could you mind to explain about this competition in the race
TA2 in a nutshell it's Trans Am you know it's a V8 engine rear wheel drive a lot of muscle and a lot of power this track is quite technical also so it's really interesting how to maneuver in this track you know a lot of elevations a lot of turns and it's not as forgiving as you can see there are no runoffs barely any runoffs so you can't really afford to make mistakes here
ถ้าพูดถึงสนามนี้นะครับเขาบอกว่าในเรื่องของการใช้พลังกล้ามเนื้อร่างกายเนี่ยมันเหมือนกับรถเลยครับเพราะว่ามัน muscle car เหมือนกันนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยมันยากในเรื่องของการขับขี่โดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งในเรื่องของการเลี้ยวโค้งหรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับเพราะฉะนั้นทางโค้งค่อนข้างแคบเพราะฉะนั้นต้องระวังในเรื่องของการขับขี่นั่นเอง Leave a comment to Thai people
well it's my first time here I'm definitely gonna enjoy the track. I hope you guys do too. Please tune in and watch our race.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Okay, nice to meet you. Oh, so okay, well, a little bit question about the circuit. This is street circuit. What kind of difference about another circuit?
So yeah, it's obviously a street circuit. So a lot different to your normal circuit. Walls everywhere, so there's no room for mistakes or anything. So you can't make any mistakes, otherwise, yeah, pay for it by hitting the wall and stuff. So yeah.
Be careful about the curve, raceway, at the bumper.
Yeah.
So what about TA2? What is it?
So yeah, it's a V8 Mustang, 550 horsepower. Around here we hit about 240, 250 kilometers. So yeah, they're quite fast. We're on a big Hoosier tire, so yeah, a lot of fun driving. Paddle shift, 6 speed. So yeah, love it.
เจลิงก็บอกนะครับว่าในเรื่องของการแข่งขันเนี่ยคือสนามเนี่ยก็ค่อนข้างที่จะยากนิดนึงเพราะว่าเครื่องยนต์เนี่ย V8 นะครับเป็นเครื่องที่ค่อนข้างใหญ่ Leave a comment to Thai people to watching you.
I love Thailand. Love to come back anytime. So yeah, thank you.
And welcome back, folks. Earlier on, we were just watching TCR Asia do their run here at the Bangsaen Grand Prix FIA Grade 3 certified circuit here. And now it is time to turn your attention over to the Gardini pole position winner, folks. Being the pole position winner, of course, means that during qualifying, of course, Craig right there and Steve O joining up with Tech Pro Eden Mitsu gets pole position, and therefore Gardini presented an award. Here's Gregory Bennett there for you, cowboy hat, and AF Racing. His dad actually watching over from in Bangkok. Hopefully he's getting well. Good wishes for that family as well. And also to, here we go, Tech Pro Idemitsu Racing, Jalen. Jalen, of course, looking very young only because he's 16, started driving at around 12 years old, I guess. 4 years before 16, so let's do the math. Here's Liquid Moly and Be Quick. Ooh, together again. Be Quick Monster. For Innovation, Be Quick, Yongbun and Michael Freeman. Must be Yongbun right there. PT Maxitron Girl. Next to the number 63, Silpa and Goran from PT Maxitron Camp. A shot for AF Racing. Number 35, Sam Yurulmas. Here's Gabby coming back at you, hailing out from the Philippines. Innovation Be Quick Racing. The only female driver that is doing also from Philippines as well. It's very, very cool of her to do that. ETS Racing Fuel girls, ready to fuel up. Number 81 being Aitan from the Nanami Racing. And look at this beautiful Mercedes. Johor, the Prince. Both Abdul Rahman Ibrahim, and of course, with his brother. This should be Narin and Stahapon for Innovation Be Quick Racing. Number 26. Probably be in the Challenger, not the Charger. It's a new bodied Challenger, by the way. If you're just tuning in, welcome back, folks, to ThailandSuperSeries.net. And of course, we also have shots here for TCR Asia Podium for the International Series held right here in Bangsaen Street Circuit. Started off from the 30th of August to today, actually. So now rounds 9 and 10 for TCR Asia had just come to a close. And what Sean said, I hope that it's going to happen, because that way Sean can come back and, of course, see the beautiful Bangsaen circuit once again. I believe right now he's off to Shanghai to cover some Formula action. It's just the jet set life of commentators these days. Go where you're needed to be. I also hear he's also into the boats as well. And while I'm headed off to go to do some jet ski stuff later on at the end of the year, that should be pretty cool. Down by Pattaya, which is not that far away from Bangsaen, actually. Take a look at the crowds over here. Everybody's looking on. Oh, he's definitely got the advantage with the long zoom lens there. Interesting enough, nobody's here with a binocular. Might as well, if you're gonna zoom in, get it with the camera. Gotta say thanks to sponsors out there, of course, CP, Toyota, Sing, Be Quick, Eden Mitsu, S-Cola, and True Vision. Michelin as well. 3 minutes left on the timage before everybody splits off the pit row. Michelin tires in the house representing, well, for sponsorship, official partners, a Bangkok Bank, and of course Wang Prom. ETS Racing Fuel. Well, there's a shot you don't see every day. A drone shot of another drone shooting downwards. I feel like I'm looking at an Inception shot right here. A drone within a drone. And I'm droned down out. Okay, here's a little more conservative angle here for you. A sea of TA2 ready to rock and roll. Steve O and Craig Corliss. Originally, Craig Corliss was supposed to ride shotgun together, team up with Don Pastor. Don, of course, is recuperating from, I guess, an injury. And good luck with him. But Steve O is also doing a great job as well. Steve and Craig together for Tech Pro Eden Mitsu. Came in with a good lap time of 140, and that causes them to be pole position, and Gardini was there to give away a prize for coming in first in pole position. Later on, we're going to have a flag off by GoPro for the Southeast Asian region by Mr. Sangeet. And of course, being in the TA2 camp, GoPro is also sponsoring some of the prizes as well, including the best charger, which of course means from the back of the field, or how many positions they climb up, 1 minute, folks. Start your engines. Let's let them hear them rip and rumble. If you close your eyes, they sort of sound like big boats. And the V8 Rumble is very iconic to mostly American muscle cars and pony cars. But then also you throw in Mercedes into the mix and yeah, why not? A little bit of a stutter there for you. I feel like you're in the Matrix watching the pixels just go pixelating. If you look at the TA2s, it reminds you of the days of good old days of Trans Am racing. Trans Am 2. There it goes. GoPro, Sangeet. Flagging off. Waving off the TA2 monsters. Thanks to GoPro for being a great supporter, of course, for TA2 racing in Thailand. And also thanks to Craig Corliss, who happens to be the front of the field, who brought in the TA2 platform for all to witness, being one of the pinnacle car platforms to drive in, of course, geared towards rookies and also amateur drivers as well, which goes to show that it's not just about having a deep pocket that you can race, but you really don't have to do that. And with good team support, longevity, and serviceability of the cars, makes it convenient and affordable. At least, of course, if you want to get your hands on a V8 monster, this is the platform to be in. Here's a lineup for you folks. First up, 88 from Tech Pro. Second, from AF Racing, number 11. In second position, Jalen, R, and Paul from Tech Pro, and number 29. In third, Kajansak and Rafael. 13 car in fourth position, number 55 car in fifth position, Silapa in sixth, Samuel Mas in seventh position, and the number 60 Gabby hailing from Philippines in eighth, Etan in ninth, and the Royal from Johor Motorsports in 10th in the Mercedes-Benz. Steve F will be rounding out from 11th position, and Stahapon and Naren should be in 12th. From Innovation Be Quick, both of them will be in 11th and 12th place respectively. Hearing these cars roar by gives me the jitters. That this is race 6 for all you folks up there wondering how do we get to this point. Well, basically we started off in Sepang, Malaysia with the 2 races there, and then we went over, carried it on to Buriram out in Chang International Circuit, bringing down 2 more races, carrying over the points, and of course when the ball kept on going, you couldn't stop, so you might as well stop by Bangsaen Grand Prix right here. FIA Grade 3 certified. TA2 comes down for 2 more races, and this being the second of the race that they did yesterday. They did 1, and of course today another one for Sunday. So that tallies up to 6 races for TA2 Thailand. That they have a good respect for this track. First of all, being a narrow, considering that their cars. Oh, we got monkeys on the road. Run away, Forrest, run! Anyway, so considering that these cars are pretty wide, It gets kind of hairy for them if they want to use the entire width of the track, and of course, might shave off the barrier. But then again, they're low to the ground, wide stance, so they're and the aerodynamics is pushing them down constantly if they go up to a certain amount of speed. Because aerodynamics would mean diddly squat if you didn't go up to a quick, fast enough speed to make use of the airflow over the airfoil. Try saying that 10 times fast. Clear skies up above. Edge point over around the back end of the track, and along the straight of racetrack next to a beach is what makes this venue very, very interesting. Also added to the fact we have FIA Grade 3 and also a lot of certifications for safety, including of course Tech Pro being the barriers that we choose to use on this track. In specific locations, obviously we're not going to have Tech Pro everywhere, otherwise that would just crowd out the whole thing. But in crucial corners is where Tech Pro is going to be, and that's going to soften up any impact and absorb as much as possible. All right. There goes bye-bye for the safety car, and Craig Corliss is obviously in the front. I don't think he's going to give way easily to Gregory. You never know. There goes the light, and here it comes. Everybody in beautiful formation. The number 11 following closely behind from AF Racing. Getting really close to Craig Corliss' back there. Steve O. Meanwhile, 35. Closing the gap. Sam Udell Mass. Get a shot of Gabby as well in the mix. There's Gabby rounding out near the end of the field there. So she dropped down by like about 2 positions. 26. What about dropping down? He's dropped out. Sahapon and Narin not having a good time right now because, that has an impact already to the front nose of the 26 Innovation Be Quick. I wonder what he hit though, if the highlight or replay can check that out. But until then, we're going to keep our eyes on the front and center. Yellow flag right now. Oh man, SC of course obviously out. And waving. Not even a lap done, and we're already done in SC. So, time left to go. If that's going to be one of the main concerns, obviously, still ticking backwards at 35 minutes on the counter. SC already out, and Akari, well, let's see, at least number 26, down and out for the count. Not going anywhere soon, folks. Front damage looks pretty drastic, though. Now, if it was a normal situation, they could fix that up really quick. Get ready for the next race, but guess what? There are no more races for them today. This is race 6. The whole front clip is gone. Now I get to see finally what's behind the front bumper. A lot of air intake tubes and whatnot, and some cooling, of course. That does a lot of vital cooling for the engine that they desperately need for the V8, especially in the hot country. Meanwhile, TCR Asia is doing the prize presentation over on the right side of your screen if you're looking at this, from what I'm seeing. VA2 Thailand Race 6, of course, brought to you in part by Eden Mitsu, one of the proud sponsors for this series, this category. So while the SC is out and time is ticking back here, we have less than 34 minutes left to go as they quickly try to clean up the track here. Well, the officials are telling everybody to keep on the right side of the track, obviously, and going slow. This is actually just turn 1. Turn 1. Man, can't believe it. Number 26 is going to be hoisted away. everybody sees that in sight, probably going to be reminded to take it easy on the first lap. Not much going on right now other than follow the leader. The Toyota pace car or safety car is making the front run right now, obviously keeping everybody at bay. And we're probably going to let her rip later on. Steve O and Craig Corliss together, as usual, they got the first podium win, actually the first pole position. And Gardini presented with a prize presentation right off the get-go before the race even started. And Mr. Sangeet, of course, waving them off. Big head honcho over at GoPro for the Southeast Asian region. AF Racing, obviously everybody not far behind, but in the second row, second position, the number 11, Gregory Bennett, and of course Maxim Juice is going to be running for AF Racing in second position. Jalen R. and Paul for Tech Pro Eden Mitsu Racing, the number 29, goes to third position. In fourth, we have Yongbun. Yongbun will be driving for Innovation Be Quick Racing and the 55 machine. While Kajonsak Nasongkla and Rafael dropping down a notch for Tech Pro Eden Mitsu Racing, currently in fifth. Silpa and Garan for PT Maxitron Motorsports in sixth position. Samuel Delmas, we're out of Turkey, coming out for AF Racing in the number 35. There you see it in the back right before the white car, and then the white car going to Eton from Nanami Racing, and then Gabby in the blue Mustang, white stripes on top, hailing out of the Philippines. That's right, folks, you heard me right. Gabby is going to be driving the number 60 in the blue Mustang. Currently dropping down into position to number 9 right now. So, last but not least, somehow, Johar Motorsports ended up in 10th position. There's a beautiful shot of the Mercedes there. So they're going to go around again as it's still under yellow safety. But it was mentioned that the CPS Open window will be open for business at around 2:20, which means everybody will have to come in at around 2:20. And that's pretty much like around, let's say 5 minutes away. Which is actually quite a shame, because by this time around, you would expect that if it was a full-blown race without all this commotion with the safety car, these guys would have had a chance to make a run for it and used up those tires and get a good lead with the first driver before coming over for a switch for CPS. Now it's just like having a parade of a TA2 going around the track and then going to CPS. So I bet everybody's itching to get some speed going on here, at least before they can go into CPS mode. Compulsorily pit stop. 4 minutes away before that pit stop starts opening. And they might as well just go straight in too, because you know everybody's already equalized. There's no need to just go all out and then come back in. So right now they're like warming up their cars, actually. The SC still out. And that safety car doesn't want to come in yet because I don't think they cleared that road up yet, first of all. They're still laying down some of that powder to cover for the fluids that have been lost. Out of the 26. I wonder if anybody caught what had happened for the number 26. And if it was caught on camera, that would probably make a great replay or a highlight. We never got to find out though, so it keeps me wondering. And that was right before turn 1 too. Number 11, not wasting any time warming tires. Meanwhile, number 88 looks pretty calm and cool, really composed. Okay, safety light is off there on top of the Camry, and you know what that means. The SC is about to go bye-bye, and the time left to go on this race is 27 minutes. So we already went deep into the 13-minute mark for this race. Safety car is going to be going in on this lap. There goes back into pit row for safety car, and TA2 about to get underway once again for race 6. You hear the rumbling outside. You know it's almost time for that V8 howl. Go pressing up against each other. Hopefully not too close though. In front, the number 88 from Tech Pro. And the second is for the number 11 from AF Racing. It's green, folks. And green means go, and that's what they're doing right now. Whisking by 13 Kajonsak and Rafael Tech Pro, closing the gap. Not making it easier for Maxitron to look for a way to tippy-toe past. Top 1, 2, 3, 88, 11, and 29 bunched up together. Yongboon not that far behind in the 55. And the 11th car from AF Racing's got the headlights on. Not sure if that's a tactic or not. Look at that, he's running daytime running lights. Going around the roundabout in the quickest way possible. Straight on over. And right now, like I said, they're bunched up, top 3. Greg and Steve O together for Tech Pro Racing. AF Racing for Max and Juice and Gregory Bennett. And Tech Pro Racing once again with Jalen and Paul. Now completing 4 laps now on the top run of roster. Last time does a 1:45.820. We're going to start picking up the pace a little earlier here. And there we go. CPS window's already opened. They pretty much just got a lap under. Or 2. So I guess they're going to try to go for as many laps as possible. And squeeze in the time they have on the track before going into CPS. Number 88 sliding into the corner right here. See them driving through the groove on the track. Number 11 actually setting up the car perfectly before taking a corner. Not making a mistake because of this. Here comes a shot with Maxim, Juice, and Gregory. And already, some of them are already in the pit row. The Prince out of Johar Motorsports with the number 63, Silapa, and Goran from PT Maxitron Motorsports. They go in for a quick stop and go, I guess, because there's nothing for them to do. Car's still in tip-top condition. 29 slid into the corner there. Gotta be careful. For Jalen and Paul. '35, Samuel Domas. What's he doing there? Oh, that's the cooler box. That's how he keeps cool, the cool shirt system. And that box is basically pumping cool air into his shirt. I guess through all that slow driving before, they pretty much blew by all that ice for the first 13 minutes. Yep. The number 88 running solo now, so it seems. But 11 right behind, not giving up obviously, even though you've got 21 minutes left to go. There's still a good chance for you to come on up from AF Racing because, you know, if Tech Pro Inamitsu decides to make a mistake for some weird reason, the number 88 would then give it up to the number 11 for Max and Gregory. Here's the rest of the field coming in to CPS. CPS is still open. Number 55 coming to a halt. Jongboon from Innovation B Quick. Mostly just checking tire pressure. Keeping the eye on the ball. Gabby here, putting the blinkers on, making sure everything's okay. She's still in good to go. Just checking the tire pressure. Wasn't sure about this, but yesterday I think Gabby was running with a front splitter, support beams falling off. Now I guess they fixed that up. Pretty nice. The number 13, Gajon-sak and Rafael, Tech Pro Idemitsu Racing, is in 5th position. Everybody looking at the stopwatch. I guess it's all digital now because he's looking on his phone. And Nanami is out. Mr. Eton, Z, Gregory, and Maxim Juice, the two duos coming in for AF Racing, now back in the pits. See who goes in there. Here's Craig Corliss stepping into number 88. And for number 11, I think it's most likely going to be Gregory Bennett. Later on in the day, we're going to be having a Porsche Carrera Cup Asia Race 2. And of course, that'll take place most likely at 2:55, run all the way to 3:25. So that's pretty much 14 laps or half an hour before we go for a grid walk. And then back at you at Thailand's Supercar GT3, GTM, and of course, a sprint trophy for the Porsche as well. And that's going to be a grueling 1-hour race. Gabby D making his turn. Hopping out now. Tech Pro Idemitsu Racing. Got Jalen Robotom plastered all over the front, and 13. Oh no, Tech Pro Idemitsu Racing spins around, I guess. This is one of the corners that many have been fighting against over this race weekend. Let's get a replay of this, see what actually happened. If it was done on his own, yes it was. Oversteer, saves it. Oh, just in a nick of time, didn't even hit the guardrail. Wow, count your blessings. So Craig Corley